Imagine getting a text message only to find out later that someone else read it too. This isn't a scene from a spy film, it's the unsettling reality highlighted by a recent warning from the FBI and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA. They're urging all iPhone and Android users to think twice before hitting send on their next text message. Why the sudden alarm? It all boils down to vulnerabilities in the way we send texts, leaving our conversations exposed to prying eyes. Our smartphones, once symbols of connection, are now potential gateways for cybercriminals to access our private lives. And the way we text, something as simple and commonplace as sending a quick message, has become a surprising point of vulnerability. The FBI and CISA are sounding the alarm bells, and it's time we pay attention. Our texts, often filled with personal details, financial information, and sensitive conversations, are more exposed than we realize. The first step towards digital safety is understanding the potential risks. So, before you send that next text, let's delve into the reasons behind this warning and explore how we can better protect our digital conversations. To understand the security concerns, we need to talk about SMS and RCS, the backbone of our text messaging. SMS, or short message service, is the old kid on the block, the standard we've used for years. RCS, or rich communication services, is the newer, fancier cousin, designed to enhance our texting experience with features like read receipts and file sharing. The problem? Both SMS and basic RCS lack a crucial layer of protection: end-to-end encryption. This means that while your messages are zipping across the digital highway, they're like postcards, open for anyone with the right tools to intercept and read. Think of it like sending a letter. If you're sending a sensitive document, you wouldn't dream of just putting it in an envelope without sealing it, right? Encryption is like the digital equivalent of that sealed envelope, scrambling your messages and making them unreadable to anyone but the person you're talking to. Now you might be thinking, but what about iMessage and Google Messages? They're secure, right? You're right to some extent. These platforms offer end-to-end encryption, but this security net only works when you're messaging someone using the same platform. Send a message from your iPhone's iMessage to an Android user, and you're back in the danger zone of unencrypted communication. The FBI and CISA's warning isn't based on hypothetical threats. It's grounded in the unsettling reality of a recent cyber attack, dubbed Salt Typhoon. This attack, attributed to Chinese hackers, has sent shockwaves through the cybersecurity world, exposing the fragility of our communication networks. Imagine hackers gaining access to the control centers of major telecom companies, like having the master key to millions of phone conversations. That's essentially what happened with Salt Typhoon. This attack targeted at least 8 US telecom giants, including household names like AT&T, Verizon, and Lumen Technologies. The hackers weren't just snooping on random individuals, they were after high-value targets, specifically government officials and political figures. They accessed call records, listened in on live calls, and even got their hands on the actual content of some conversations. What's even more concerning is that the full extent of the Salt Typhoon attack remains shrouded in mystery. We don't know how many people were affected, what information was compromised, or even if the hackers still have access. The Salt Typhoon cyberattack serves as a chilling example of what can happen when our communication channels are left vulnerable. It's a stark reminder that cybersecurity is not just a concern for tech giants and government agencies, but for every individual who relies on digital communication. In the wake of the Salt Typhoon attack, the FBI and CISA aren't just ringing the alarm bells, they're offering a life raft: encrypted communication. They're urging users to ditch the vulnerability of SMS and basic RCS and switch to messaging apps that prioritize security. Their advice? Opt for apps that offer end-to-end encryption like WhatsApp, Signal, and Facebook Messenger. These apps act like digital vaults for your conversations, scrambling your messages so that only you and the person you're talking to can unlock and read them. They're also encouraging users to prioritize devices with automatic updates, ensuring that their phones have the latest security patches to combat emerging threats. Another key piece of advice is to enable multi-factor authentication, or MFA, whenever possible. Think of MFA as a double lock for your accounts, requiring not just your password, but also a unique code sent to your phone or email. By taking proactive steps like switching to encrypted messaging apps, enabling MFA, and keeping our devices updated, we can significantly strengthen our defenses against cyber threats. Section 5. Unpacking Responsible Encryption. While the FBI and CISA are championing encryption, there's a nuanced term embedded in their recommendations: responsibly managed encryption. This seemingly simple phrase has ignited a debate about the balance between user privacy and law enforcement's ability to investigate crime. Essentially, it suggests that while encryption is crucial for protecting user data, there should be mechanisms in place for lawful access, potentially including access to the content of messages. This stance has sparked controversy, particularly because it seems to exclude platforms like WhatsApp and Signal, which are known for their unwavering commitment to user privacy. These platforms have built their reputations on providing end-to-end encryption that even they can't break, meaning they cannot provide access to message content, even if served with a warrant. On one hand, encryption is essential for protecting sensitive information from cybercriminals. On the other hand, law enforcement agencies argue that unbreakable encryption can hinder investigations. As our lives become increasingly intertwined with the digital world, finding the right balance between security, privacy, and lawful access will continue to be a complex and evolving challenge. Section 6. The long wait for RCS encryption. Remember RCS, the newer messaging standard designed to enhance our texting experience? While it promises a lot, it currently lacks one crucial element: end-to-end encryption. The GSMA, the organization that sets the standard for mobile communication, and Google have both acknowledged the need for RCS encryption and have promised to implement it in the future. However, the timeline remains frustratingly vague, with no concrete date in sight. Apple, a key player in the messaging world, has remained silent on the issue, adding to the uncertainty. This delay in RCS encryption is a cause for concern. As users wait for a more secure messaging standard, their conversations remain vulnerable. The longer it takes for RCS encryption to become a reality, the more exposed our communications become to potential threats. While the promise of a more secure messaging future is there, the wait can feel interminable, especially in light of increasing cyber threats. The lack of a firm timeline for RCS encryption underscores the need for users to take proactive steps to secure their communications today. Section 7. Seeking refuge in encrypted messaging apps. With SMS and basic RCS vulnerabilities exposed, what can users do to protect their text conversations today? The answer is clear: switch to encrypted messaging apps. Apps like WhatsApp, Signal, and Facebook Messenger offer higher security through end-to-end encryption. Signal is open source and collects minimal data, while WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger have larger user bases but collect more data. Switching to an encrypted messaging app is a proactive step to enhance digital security. Section 8. The aftermath, political ripples, and regulatory responses. The Salt Typhoon cyberattack has sent ripples through the political landscape, prompting calls for action and a closer look at our communication network security. U.S. senators have scheduled a hearing for December 11th to discuss the security risks to communication networks. This hearing will bring together experts, industry leaders, and officials to assess vulnerabilities and explore solutions. The FCC chairwoman has proposed a new rule requiring annual cybersecurity certifications from service providers. This aims to hold telecom companies accountable for protecting their networks and customer data. CISA will launch an independent review of the Salt Typhoon attack, with the Cyber Safety Review Board meeting on December 6, 2024. This review will assess the attack and provide recommendations for preventing similar incidents. The responses to the Salt Typhoon attack underscore the growing recognition of cybersecurity as a national security imperative.